Hi, welcome. My name is Brendan Lee. I want to talk to you a little bit about the work that I do and mainly about how the work that I do has impacted me. Because one of the things I struggle with and have struggled with for a while is like trying to communicate the value of what I do. Trying to communicate what's really worth it about the work that I do. You know, because people would say, hey, what do you do? I do consciousness work. I do Ching Shin martial arts. I do the art of effortless power. Like, what's that? They don't know. Well, what good is it? That's the primary question, right? It's like, what good is it? Now, in the domain of consciousness work, it's a very strange thing because the value comes from doing the work. It just so happens that when I do consciousness work, when I engage in this way, when I inquire into the nature of things in this way, you know, what we call contemplation, it tends to be freeing and empowering. Man, I get happy. And so I was talking to somebody and she was telling me, she asked me this question. She's like, well, where would you be without this work? I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, you need to make a video about that. So I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. So in an attempt to answer that question, it's like, where would I be without this work? If I think back, right, because I met Peter Ralston when I was 17 years old. I was young, I was angry, I was upset at the world. I was looking out and I wanted more from the world. I knew, because I grew up in a small town, I mean, not because I grew up in a small town, but I grew up in a small town in Vermont. I looked around this town, like, all right, is this it to life? Is this it? There has to be more than this, right? There has to be more. And so I went looking for more. And it just so happens that I found this more in the form of Peter Ralston. He's my teacher, mentor, now business partner. I work with him. I facilitate his workshops. I've spent a lot of time with this guy. And I've known him since a very young age, you know, from 17. I met him when I was 17. That's when I saw him, and I was like, for whatever reason, I'm like, I want to dedicate my life to doing that. I don't know why, but it's just something about the way that he spoke, the intelligence, the way he moved, what he was talking about, how he was speaking. I'm like, okay, I want to learn that. I want to learn the martial arts. I'm interested. And then there's like something else about the way he presented, the way he showed up in the world, and that came across too, and I didn't know what that was. You know, later on I come to find out that's like a byproduct of the consciousness work. So when I get this question, well, where would you be without this work? I'm like, oh my God, I start to think back like, 17, unhappy, had no idea anything about mind, emotions, you know, like what's really going on there. I probably would have made some bad decisions. I mean, without the discipline, without the learning and ability to control my mind and stay focused and, you know, understand myself and what's really happening so that I can see the roads that I'm going down and then actually decide and have the power so that I don't go down those roads. See, most people don't. They just live in this world of like something stimulates them, they just react to it, and they don't even know why they're reacting. It's a fucking shit show because I know. I used to live the shit show. Now I live a different kind of shit show, but it's a way better one, you see? So like, what would have happened if I didn't have this work? Oh man, if I didn't remain depressed, get stuck in something that I didn't want to get stuck in bad relationship, probably seeking some sort of bad relationship to try to fulfill something I had going on, man, it would have been a mess. Now, I do believe in myself to a certain degree. I'm smart. I can figure shit out. I can do things. I got that. But the quality of my life, you know, like I've said in the previous video, which I might replace my previous video with this one, you know, regarding, because I've made breakthroughs, like what they call an enlightenment experience, right? We call it a direct consciousness, something becoming conscious of my nature. That, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I would not take any amount of money to go back to the way I was. Why? Because the way I was completely locked into a mind, totally stuck, completely stuck, like, and insane. Like the more I hang out, the more I look into things, the more I look at people, my own mind, the more I realize that mind is insane. It is like something happens, I do something about it, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just trying to resolve some kind of brokenness for some reason I don't know, and I just like spin these wheels. And for sure, becoming more conscious has got me out of that. You see, so that's a freedom that I enjoy. That I can see that other people do not enjoy that freedom. Now, am I saying I'm a perfect person? No. Have you ever seen one? Somehow in spiritual circles, right? There's this idea of the perfect person. Somehow, like, I'm going to be the perfect self-actualized person, or the teacher has got to be some perfect. No. Like, anybody who's saying that's full of shit, because no person is that. I've never seen one. The only ones we have are in myths, like Buddha and Jesus and others, like the perfect person. But I can guarantee you've never ever seen one. See, so it's a shit show out there. Now that's another thing. Becoming conscious has helped me realize like what's going on. So I have a clarity of mind, a presence that I can access. Other people don't. They don't know what's going on with their own mind. I can see. I have an ability to be honest with myself. That's, I don't know if there's anything useful there, but at least I can be honest with myself to a degree likely higher than most people. You see? And what else does it give me? I understand things about learning. I understand things about mind. I understand things about our perceptions of reality, how it gets created. See? Now, what good is that? There is nothing good about it, and in the sense of grasping what's true, there's no good or bad there, and this is probably one of the challenging aspects of the work that I do, in terms of the consciousness work, right? Is everybody, when they come in to get conscious, or they come in, they're like seeking the truth, they're always trying to seek the truth to get better. And when you do that, it really gets in the way. And it just so happens, though, like on the flip side, and this is the counterintuitive part, if I let go of seeking the good and the bad, like, oh, I'm going to become conscious of what's true for what it gives me, it just so happens that when I become conscious of what's really true, it's like when I have insights and make breakthroughs, it's the best feeling in the world. It is a freeing, like, fuck. Like, oh, I got something real. I understand now. It's one of the best feelings in the world. It's mind-blowing shit. It's amazing. And then I go through the world differently. That's the good shit. An insight, a breakthrough. You see? Boom. Oh, new reality. That is awesome. And then what can I do with that? Well, now I can view worlds, perhaps, depending on the breakthrough, the nature of the breakthrough. I can look at a world as different than what other people can see, and it makes a difference in my life. I can apply it to my life. See, and again, that's the counterintuitive part, because when I'm seeking what's true, as if going for what's true, attempting to become conscious, contemplating something, working on it, you see, we call it like working. You get to work, right? You work on it. You work on grasping what's true. I don't do it with that in mind, like what's this going to give me? If that happens, I toss it out. And that's the counterintuitive part. But then there is something to discover. That's the truth. And when I discover it, holy fuck, that's amazing. And then I can reap the rewards, the benefits. I'm happier. I'm more free. I can create states of mind. I can discover things better. I can be more clear in my thinking. I can be better at communication. I can understand the difference between communicating with somebody and judging them, which is not communication, wouldn't work, or actually grasping their experience for real. And this other world is available. And it would not be available if I didn't make the breakthroughs, you see. So my quality of life is better. I understand things. And then not only that, I can make breakthroughs about what we call principles. Shit that'll make your life more powerful and effective and free. Like integrity, for example. You keep your word. There's like a massive benefit to that. And then recognizing the reality of that. and then going, oh, that's more powerful. Cool, I'll do that. And then not doing it from a place of, oh, I should do that, or some teacher told me I should live a certain way, because we don't tell you how to live. I don't tell people how to live. Peter doesn't tell me how to live. He teaches understanding, and then from a place of understanding, I decide how to live. This is way better for me. See, and then understanding things about principles, honesty, integrity, honor, perhaps, effectiveness, excellence. These things kick ass. They make life way better. The quality of life improves dramatically from this understanding and then taking action on it. And then I get to see the real results. Like, this is worth it. And it wouldn't happen without, again, the contemplation, the looking into it, the seeking to discover what's true about that. It's just we point it in different directions, right? And so we have these, like, at least in the consciousness work, sort of like these two domains. I can get conscious of stuff that's like absolutely true, which is what's really true, and then stuff that's relatively true, ergo principles, understand dynamics of human emotion, what it is to be a human being, all that stuff. And you can look into these things and, again, discover. And then from that place, all these benefits happen. You see? So now, what would my life be like without all that? Fuck, man. Like, just thinking about myself back in the day, with that younger mind, it's like, it is atrocious. It's ignorant. It's blindly reactive. It's completely ignorant, like unconscious, in the sense that I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. No idea the consequences of what I was doing. That's the big thing. See, like, I would have been living this world not understanding how to create a world that I want. I'd have no understanding of that. I'd probably be, I don't know, trying to sell real estate or start a business or doing something, you see, and like stuck in this mind. Maybe an adult version of that sort of trapped mind. And my God, when I think about that, I'm like, holy shit, I'm so grateful for what I do, what I've done for myself, you see. These are some of the reasons why I think this work is worth it. Okay? So I just wanted to share a little bit about that to you. Because if you're considering doing this work, these are some of the things that I think make it worth it for me. If that is something you're interested in, you are invited to join in. It kicks ass. It is not easy, okay? But it's totally worth it. Like I was talking to some guys, I'm actually working with a small team now. I call us the Four Horsemen, and what we're doing is we're working to get more of this work out into the world. We're doing some other projects, which I'll be able to talk to you more about as things unfold. And so I'm working with these guys, and then we're working on a project, and then I'm trying to come up with something to say. It's like an about page on this project, and one of the guys I'm working with, he's like, well, why don't we tell people, like, okay, we'll say who this work is for, and then also who this work is not for. And some of the things, like the places that this work is not for, is if you want to start a religion, just be a believer or a follower, just follow along with what somebody says about how to live. This work is not for you. If you want something that is easy, not for you. If you want something that is lightweight, this is not for you. This is not like a smoke some dope and chill out kind of deal. This is some hard, serious shit. And the benefits are serious, like as in real. There's something real to be gained. You don't have to. And if you don't want to, I absolutely would not push you to do it. I don't care. It's up to you. It is up to you. The ball's in your court. But if you want to join in, you know where to find me, okay? You're smart. You can click the links in the description. If you have a question, reach out to me. Find my email. You know how to find these things. Go find it. Talk to me. Let me know what you think. If you want, you can text my phone, 210-468-9922. Say hi. If you have a serious question, let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening. You're invited to check out some of this work if you want. Oh, sidebar. In addition to the consciousness work, I also spent many years, like thousands and thousands, well over 10,000 hours, a lot of hours training martial arts. And I trained the Art of Effortless Power. So it's founded by Peter Rawlinson. Now, what is the Art of Effortless Power? Essentially, it is a mixed martial art. We do striking, throwing, grappling. We do all of it, right? Now, grappling, not as much. Striking and throwing, lots of that. Okay, so he's striking, uprooting, and throwing. That kind of standing up, throwing, striking, pushy, shovey kind of shit, right? Now, one of the things that makes this art very unique is its commitment to what we call effortless power, which is to say finding a way to have power while being as relaxed and fluid and as aware as possible, as effortless as possible, and still have power, okay? Because I know in the martial arts world, the best way to show or share with a martial artist is to do it on them, all right? Because a lot of people, they'll look, you might look at some of the footage and you see things and you go, oh, well, that's bullshit martial arts or whatever. I can guarantee you it's not. It's okay. I understand. If you have a problem with that, you can come talk to me or come study or come train. I'm okay with that. We can show you, all right? But it's essentially mixed martial arts with a huge emphasis on relaxation and also working to understand dynamics of mind, how to create states of mind that are effective for training, how to create states of mind that are effective for fighting, knowing the distinction between fighting and martial arts, which a lot of people don't understand. Martial arts, not fighting. Fighting is fighting. Think MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, fencing, judo, that kind of stuff. That's fighting. People actually doing it. Mixed martial arts, if I said that. Martial arts, like traditional martial arts that don't fight but claim to be fighters, that's martial arts. These are different, and I understand the difference. I've been in the ring with some very serious guys. And you can look up Cabbage. I ended up in a training session with Cabbage in Hawaii. He's an old MMA fighter. You gotta watch that shit. These guys are strong. Or, I rolled with a couple of top-level guys, one up B team in Austin, Texas, and also 10th Planet up in Austin, like some very serious guys. They know what the fuck they're doing. This is fighting stuff. It's serious, yeah? And so understanding this is just some of the stuff, just trying to tell you, hey, I've done some stuff. I understand the difference between these worlds, and the emphasis on the Art of Effortless Power is we work on skill, being sensitive, being aware, fluid, understanding distinctions like distance, timing, understanding mind. For example, like if I am the target, this is like one secret. This is a secret, by the way, like a martial secret. If I'm a target and I move the target, I can start to control my opponent. Why? Because they want me. And if I understand that appropriately, I can start to mess with them real good and take them out. For example, you see, we study stuff like this on purpose. So this is another whole aspect. That's what I grew up doing. I loved the martial arts. That's what I was doing. Like I love that. I love the training, the moving, and all this stuff. Very important to me. Now, what's the benefit of that? What's good? What good is that? Well, not only is it healthy for your body, I learned how to feel more. So I don't walk, like some people, they are so out of touch with their bodies that they're basically a head on wheels. They barely have feet. They don't even know where their feet are. All they've got probably is like a head and hands, and they live in this world of feeling that just includes head and hands. They don't have a whole body feel. They don't feel their body. They're not fluid. They're not in touch. This is not a feeling I would want to live with. I would suck. Yeah. I can box. That's a good feeling to know that if somebody tries to hit me, I don't really have a problem with that. It's like, okay, good. Yeah, and? See? There's a certain self-confidence that comes with, say, I've done lots of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, in addition to all this other stuff. And there's like a calmness, perhaps, like being comfortable in my own skin kind of feeling that I don't think happens if you don't do this kind of training a lot. So it's like, okay, I'm a little bit more at peace. less likely to fight, like get into a tussle on the street. Just like, okay, it's no problem, no problem. See, it's like I don't need to do that. Why? Because I've done lots of training. I get it. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. And I understand things about learning and also training other people, because that's another aspect is like my teaching. I teach other people. And so understanding teaching helps me in a learning environment because I can sort of go to the other side, what the teacher's dealing with when they deal with me, and that helps my learning a great deal. Yeah? So these are some of the things that are beneficial. And also, at least in the martial arts, the benefit's clear. If you're doing it right, you can kick some fucking ass, okay? Like, that's a clear benefit. Finally, something where there's some clear value and it's easy. I'm more aware of my surroundings. See, good. These are benefits. And now, when people are interested in training the martial arts, I've taught people from all skill levels. It doesn't matter. When people come in to learn, I just take them where they're at, and I take them as far as I can possibly take them given where they're at, and just bring them through as much material as possible. Very often people get overloaded because it's just so much, and that's fine. You can be advanced, I'll advance you further. You can be just starting out, I'll take you safely in a fun environment, safely from where you're at, all the way through. Like you could come do boxing, for example, start from zero, and I will take you up through into starting to have some real skill within a week, and it's very safe, very fun. You don't need to have a lot of experience to do that. Again, or if you have a lot of experience, I teach teachers. Often martial arts teachers will come to me, I'll teach them too, and they learn a lot too. It doesn't matter. Right? I have a lot to give there. A lot. Okay? All right, so that's part of like my story, my identity. When I came in, I just wanted to do the martial arts. I didn't care about this consciousness work. I really didn't. I'm like, I don't know. It's just something I did. And so I had no interest. I just wanted to move and try to look cool. And then also try to use Cheng Shin to fix me or whatever, right? Like be the master on the hill, on the mountaintop. Learn from the master. Be an apprentice, which I was for many years, an apprentice. Lived here. In fact, the first time I came here, I asked Peter, I think I've told this story probably a couple times, but the first time I came here, I asked Peter, hey, can I get some money off a workshop? He's like, yeah, sure, you can come work here, but you're not going to like it, and you're better off working for somebody else. I was like, all right, I'll take my chances. And I came here, and he was right. He worked me like a dog. That's when I first learned what hard work was at 18. You see? And it was brutal. Just all day, working, outside, burning sticks for 6 days. It's like apprentice shit. I worked for a couple of weeks. Man, that was tough. See? And then, again, martial arts, kept going. And then I started to make breakthroughs in consciousness. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe there's something here. And then I keep doing it. At some point I have what they call an enlightenment experience. This is a direct consciousness of my true nature. That one thing changed my entire life forever. Instantly. I went from this world, new world. Instantly. And that blew my fucking mind. That was, and still is. I live this other world, this new perspective. Nothing changed, and yet everything changed. And there's no way I would take no amount of money to go back to the way I was. And so that has me sold on this consciousness work because that is where the huge value is. Even though when you're getting conscious, you can't look for the value just comes along with the package. And then you can use it or not. All right? And so now I'm way in consciousness work. I facilitate workshops here. I also teach martial arts. I facilitate and teach abroad in Europe, other parts of the world. And I'm looking to build that up, and I've done that. So it's this is what I'm about. This is some of the value. This is a little bit of my story. Okay? So again, if you are interested, if this appeals to you, you get a vibe this is something you want to do, talk to me, email me, let me know. You can text me if you want, 210-468-9922. It'll hit my cell. Introduce yourself. Don't be stupid about it. Tell me who you are so I know who you are. Just a random text. I get a lot of crap texts and calls on the phone. Let me know. Stand up. Let me know who you are. If you're interested, tell me. If you want to talk, we can talk. Okay? So thank you for watching. This has been an introduction. I hope it served you in some way. And if you're interested, you're definitely invited to join in. Thank you.